Well, hello again. It's Paul from SIA and it's Andy from Snow Camps Europe. We're back with another episode to discuss another relevant topic to do with skiing. And Andy, I think we've found something on YouTube. We'll just run out of things, so we'll just criticise people on YouTube instead. Just shred them apart.
I don't think it's criticism.
No,
it's not criticism. No, I literally, well, I've just been saying to Paul that I was watching a video this morning from a friend of ours, Riley McGlashan, and it was about Originals Plus skis, which are a bespoke manufacturer of skis in Salzburg. And basically the video is the owner or the CEO of the company who used to work for Fischer Skis, and he also was the president of Castle for quite some time. And he tells the story that he sold his shares in Castle and he started this new ski brand, and they're basically purpose building skis. And what I was saying to you was, I was a little bit confused watching the video that they talk about having a massive big database of competitors' skis, so they understand how they're made and how torsionally stiff they are and how much of a rocker they've got and all of these different elements. So they've got a database of skis that's ever growing. And the guy also talked about somebody who'd bought one ski like 5 years ago, and then he'd gone into the shop and asked for a similar ski because that's what he liked to ski on, and he got a new ski 5 years later. So I would think technology has changed and there's going to have been advancements in the materials, and he didn't like this new ski. But if he gives the old ski to this factory, they will basically test it and then can build him a ski that's similar to that ski. So why would you not just go and buy the same ski that you had 5 years ago?
Even better for the fitting process.
Here he is telling us about it.
I recently had a customer in the store who actually, for the consulting process, brought his two current skis. One of them was basically, and he told me how he got those two skis, because he said he wanted something around 170 length. And he likes short radius, so basically that's what he told the shop guy. So the first was a Salomon Enduro something, 170 with 13.5 meter radius. And then he told me he went to the shop again 5 years later and said, I want a ski similar to that ski, so around 170 and around 13 meter turn radius. And the guy sold him a Rossignol Hero Elite short turn ski. And
he basically goes on to say he doesn't like the Rossi Hero one. Yeah. And this is down to the fact that the ski feels different, and that's what it is. But that sensation at this level, and the guy, fairness, goes on to say, like, you know, somebody like a Marcel Hirscher, he explains, would recognise where and why and what's going on with the ski, whether at some point it's torsionally, you know, stiffer, and at another point whether it's too stiff at the tail or too stiff at the tip. We wouldn't know that, he was saying, or recreational skiers wouldn't be aware of that, but they can say I don't like or I do like. Yeah. But my argument with a lot of recreational skiers would be that they basically also judge the ski by the conditions underfoot, which can make the ski react differently. You know, if you're skiing on a ski and it's on, and we spoke about this with movement arms and it's grippy snow, and most skis will feel pretty good on that type of snow. But then equally you come on holiday and it's, you know, you're scratching around, it's icy and everything's chattering, it's vibrating, it doesn't feel good underfoot. Then yeah, you might have an opinion based upon that. You might have an opinion based upon its service. We've already said that. You know, if he might have bought that Hero and it's come out the factory at 90 degree and it's just never been properly serviced, then maybe something that it is, and I think he goes on to say it's 30% more torsionally stiff, that ski. And that was possibly what was, making him feel uncomfortable on the ski. But that again is a bit like, as you advance through your ski career, you often want a stiffer ski. And maybe this guy, you know, that's bought this ski just wants something that's very soft, the sweet spot's much bigger, it's much more forgiving, but it's never going to be a reactive ski then. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so he's driving a Cadillac rather than a Porsche, let's say.
Yeah, and he's happy with that. You know, he's happy with that American sort of sloppy sort of, and that feels great to him because he's just doing that type of parallel turn or short turn. nothing dynamic. Whereas, yes, if you're wanting something dynamic and you've got something that's torsionally very weak, you're just not going to get the response off the tip of the ski to hook the turn. So I think what it sounds like by this company a bit is they're copying skis, because he goes on to say that he has this database of all these other skis from manufacturers, whether it be, Atomic, Fisher, etc., and he's measuring the capability or what's built in, the attributes of that ski, and then he's mimicking it, which to me means that this business is likely to fold, because manufacturers then might, like they do with flex of a boot, might start turning around and just putting on your ski now, say what the torsion is, what it is at the tip, what it is at the tail, what happens, how much weight you push to the center, and it gives a reading. And then every ski manufacturer puts that across their brands, and you can go, that one's softer in the center but stiffer. It tells you that then. I mean, remember when Fisher who did the one, or Elan or somebody who used to be able to turn things, and it was tighter or torsionally stiffer at the tail end.
Yeah, a long time ago there was Blizzard skis that if you had one on your left and one on your right, you had them set for skiing on hard packed ice.
Right. Okay.
And then if you changed them over, they were for skiing on soft. Right. So in essence, half of the ski was one construction and half was the other, and you switch them around. I think with anything that's niche or anything that's custom built, there's obviously a market there, but it's how big is that market? And it's never going to be as big as mass market. And the reason that Fisher or Blizzard or Atomic, whoever it is, have a massive range of skis is because they are mass market skis and they're producing in big quantities. Now, anything that's being produced as a single pair for a single individual is, I would guess, going to come at a cost. Yes, would it be nice to have a pair of skis made for your specifications? Yeah, but as you said, if we're collecting all of the data from all of the other skis, do I walk in and say, I'd like a pair of those, but I want them to do what an RC for the curve does?
Yeah.
Because why then just not go and buy an RC for the curve?
Which they can do in the shop. I mean, you can manipulate a ski in the shop as well with some of the equipment they have in there. So they can almost make your ski softer. And I think those sort of things are something that you notice, for example, when you buy a new ski, especially if it's a FIS ski, like a top-end race ski, that sometimes people like us, I'm no FIS racer, so I like the ski after about, 10 services. Yeah. After it's been manipulated a bit and softened a bit. It's run in. And to me, that ski then feels better for the type of skiing we do. Whereas probably a FIS racer's wanting to throw it away. It's lost its torsion in the way you wanted. But, we're not skiing on that blue ice. Hopefully not. And therefore, for me, I like a run-in ski more than I like a brand new ski almost, And again, it depends on your skiing style. If you're going to go off and you're going to just carve all over the place and that's all you ever do, then definitely that torsion is going to be important to you. You don't want it twisting at the tip away when you're trying to put pressure through it at the top of the turn. So it makes sense, but I think what this maybe is helping people to understand from a ski manufacturer side is perhaps they need to have some sort of scale, a system that says how stiff is this at the tip, the middle and the tail, and across the board, and everybody can see. And then you can understand why a ski can have a 13-meter radius, be at 170, but be completely different to the ski to the right, to the left. And of course, a lot of that is to do with construction of the ski, and that's shown in price usually. If you're buying something cheap. I suppose
because we get told the tip, the waist and the tail now. So how soon will it be until we're getting this other data that you're talking about? Like, is the torsion of the tip different to the tail and to the waist and whatnot? That's quite interesting. I suppose another way of looking at it is if you go and buy a Porsche, no one goes and buys a Porsche off the shelf. You pick your wheels, you pick your interior, you pick your stereo, you pick your sun visor colour, you pick your seatbelt colour, the stitching in your seats. There's a plethora of things. So no Porsche or no two Porsches are really ever alike.
Porsche.
But they are, because the base car is still the base car, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it with a ski guy. I mean, obviously, from this side of things, he's selling something that, again, as you've said, a niche. It's really for mass market, and you can get a very, very good ski for €400 to 500 euros, somewhere in that budget, you can get in a superb ski that's going to last you, somewhere between 70 and 100 weeks, quite easy. So do you really need to change anything? No. What you need to do is, once again, focus on your skiing. Your technique, your ability to ski is more important. Again, and I know equipment is very important in skiing. We keep harping on about boots, for example, and I get the boot. Now, with a ski, though, to be fair, I think most generally good skiers can put anything on their feet and ski. One thing that we keep saying is just, look, if you want to take your skiing to the next level, then stay away from the twin tips, stay away from the floppy skis, things that aren't really meant for the hard packed. But if you're happy on that type of ski and you want an all mountain floppier ski, then great. It's great. It's some of these all mountain skis that aren't too wide. Yeah. Fantastic skis, they do the job, but don't expect them to do what you might see on the internet sometimes with some skiers. There's a limitation to that product.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't want this to come across that we're disrespecting these skis, because we're not. We had a conversation that kind of said it's quite interesting that what they're trying to do. And I suppose the other thing is, I think when Crocs first came out, which are now Augment, you also gave them your dimensions and how you wanted to ski, and they built that ski for you, but they're now readily available in shops. Yeah. So will this brand also have to go the same way to make scalable income for the business, maybe?
Yeah, to make ends meet, because as you say, I don't know how many people are going to go running to the shop. I mean, I know obviously the importance of having people back a product is great, but within the ski industry, again, it's difficult, because where's that product aimed at exactly? Unless they get, a shop behind them of substantial size, but people don't like to wait products either. And I bet you it takes a little bit of time to manufacture it. Whereas you tend to turn up on a ski holiday and I've decided I'm buying some skis.
Yeah, I'm buying some skis, I'm going
in. You go to the shop and you splash out because you're on holiday, and then be told you have to wait 2 weeks for delivery. You might be like, maybe
it's an interesting one. I'd like to try them as well. I'd like to ski on a few sets.
Yeah, but then they'd have to be set up for you.
Well, but they say they pretty much have all of the different skis in sets of, I think he says 4. So you kind of get the one that's closest to you, but then you try the one to the left and the one to the right of that ski. And again, so you can feel the differences, and again, we can feel differences. We might not be able to pinpoint it like Marcel Hirscher can, but we can feel differences. I know that my X9s this year are very different to the X9s 2 years ago, and that's, I believe, partly because they've got a lot more metal running through them than they used to have, and therefore they're a lot stiffer. So I can feel that. So I would hope that if I was to get 3 pair of these skis, I'd be able to feel the difference in between all 3.
But then again, it just comes down to, do you want to ski now on something that's a little bit softer, a little bit more pliable, a little bit easier, and you've had enough, as I keep saying, I've had enough of wearing these like super stiff race boots. Then again, I just got a pair of Fisher.
Well, I have to say, and this is going off the ski thing, because you've got the most current boot. Mine's I think it's 2 seasons old, but I never wore it until 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I find it's got more room in than my head, which was a recreational race boot. It's got more room in it. I don't get the cold feet, even though the line is thinner, and they don't feel that stiff. Unless it's just because it's been 7 degrees when I've been skiing.
Could be that. And it could be because, again, looking at, when I was looking at your foot when you were with Fabian, I think you were getting pressure on the top of your foot. And if you get pressure across them nerves on the top of your feet, your feet will be cold. Yeah. And that's what people don't realise a lot of the time. It's nothing to do with the lining and things. And indeed, as you recognise, having a thin liner doesn't make your feet any colder. It's really where your feet's been pushed and pressed on.
It's funny, I've definitely got a lot more room in the front of that boot, and I had it on yesterday all day long, and I didn't lose any feeling in my feet at all, which was quite interesting. So what I'm doing at the minute is I'm wearing my heads on one day, then I'm wearing the Fishers on another to try and
break them in.
Yeah, well, and work out, get the fit of the Fisher right as well, without it taking that sensation away from my feet.
Well, there you go.
So
Well, another interesting
again.
Another interesting episode. But your opinion on whether we should have bespoke skis and skis that are specifically manufactured to the person, and we're always interested to hear if they think it's worth it. See you on the next one.
Bye for now.